Real estate is a scam. It just is. When you're paying for real estate, you're renting an apartment, you're renting office space, you buy a house, you're paying for space. That's what you're paying for. Your space doesn't get bigger, nothing should go up. Your rent shouldn't go up, your property tax shouldn't go up, nothing, because the space isn't getting any bigger, and that's what you're paying for. Real estate is a scam. I've done videos on real estate before. I've gone into detail in a few things as far as the con artists, the real estate investors and the banks and the roles that these con artists play in real estate. But real estate as an overall it's a huge scam, ladies and gentlemen. I've also explained how it's systemic racist at its finest. The best way to keep people down is to keep them poor. You make life so unaffordable, people can't afford to live. Gentrification, no, before we even get to gentrification, segregation, and I've said this before, segregation never ended. It was repackaged into you can't afford to live here. And that was helped along by gentrification, where they come in, they buy up all the property really, really cheap. They kick all the poor people out and move, people who are better off in. Real estate is a scam. All housing should be affordable housing. All housing. Rent should never go up. Space you're paying for doesn't get bigger. 99% of the world pays their own utilities at this point. So landlords can't even claim that utilities are part of their expense anymore. Real estate is a scam. It's a con game and everyone keeps falling for it. I've explained if you buy a house, how you never actually make money in that house. I've done a video on that. You don't ever make money off of real estate if you're an average person who buys a house. You never recoup the money that you put into that house. Never. I've explained this, and it's Donald Trump is king of the con artist, and this is where they made their money. This is how I know real estate is a scam and these people are con artists. This is a game that is being played to divide and separate financially and racially, because who does this affect? Minorities, blacks, Hispanics. If you live after 9/11, if you live on an upper floor, you should be paying almost nothing for rent, because if anything ever happens, you're trapped up there. I'm not sure why people don't get this. I don't know. I always thought the American dream was to be a homeowner, so you could have that house to pass it on to your kids, not to be a homeowner so you can sell it somewhere down the line. You know you're gonna get old. You know you're not gonna be able to maintain that house. You know you're not gonna be able to climb those stairs. What good is a 5-bedroom house if 4 of the bedrooms are empty? Real estate is a scam. Everyone fell for it. I'm not sure why. Wouldn't it be nice to live closer to your job because you can afford to? Wouldn't it be nice that the term working homeless doesn't exist anymore? Right now in New York, California, and when I say a few, I mean damn near the whole country, are sitting on empty real estate property because they can't afford to sell it or rent it for cheaper without losing a fortune. And people can't afford to move into these places because they're too damn expensive. Real estate is a scam. And you know what made real estate a scam? You did. You did. Because you're greedy and selfish. And you want to pretend to the whole world, look at me, I accomplished something, I bought a house. We've already learned from the housing crisis that happened that it doesn't take that much to buy a house. People who were making minimum wage were getting mortgages to buy $500,000 homes. You know how I know real estate is a scam? Because I've heard real estate agents and developers and everybody use the terms like, I don't know, what was it? First-time home buyer? Starter house? What? You know what a starter house is? An apartment. Real estate is a scam. Everything about real estate is a scam. And I'm not going to keep talking about this because I've done videos on this already. All you're paying for is space. The space doesn't get bigger, the rent should never go up. And I'm sorry to you homeowners, but unless you're adding on to your house value shouldn't go up either. But then again, neither should your property tax, since your property's not getting any bigger. Real estate is a scam, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said before, just because you can't afford something doesn't mean you should buy it. Think about the people behind you who work 3 jobs and still don't make the kind of money you make, but they still need the real estate like you do. They still need the apartment. We could have handled the coronavirus crisis financially, at least, a lot better if we just gave people the opportunity to be able to afford to live. The basics. If we gave people the opportunity to be able to afford to live, our economy would never struggle. It would never suffer. Because if people could afford the basics, starting with real estate, because nothing gets more basic than shelter, people could afford to buy the extras. And our economy would never suffer. You have to lower the cost of living. You know why? It's actually really simple. Because raising minimum wage doesn't do anything when the cost of living goes up twice as fast. The answer is and always has been to lower the cost of living. And that starts with real estate. And it continues with education, healthcare, food, the basics. We're not talking about an iPhone here. We're not talking about a PS5. We're not talking about $300 sneakers. We're talking about basics. All you people who say that you want to help the American public out, why don't you tackle this issue? Why don't you take this on? This is and has been a growing crisis for the past 30 years. And it needs to stop. People would have been able to do a lot better financially if you give people that chance to be able to afford to live. The richest country on earth couldn't shut down its economy for a couple of weeks or a couple of months. What? Our economy is based on you spending money on stuff you don't need, going places you don't need to go. It should be based on whether or not you can afford your bills. Because that's the true test of an economy, when people aren't struggling. When you have a nation of people who pay their bills at the end of the month and still have money left over for those luxuries, and even after those luxuries still have money left over, that's when you have a strong economy.